Brought down from behind by Testaverde. No, what? Oh, no, by Jack Reed.
Reed was down.
Okay. I thought it was a fake up the middle, and all of a sudden he broke out of the pack, J.D.
They looked like they had him stopped. He did go up the middle. He bounces it to the outside, big hole, and Reed forced to run him down.
I was waiting for a whistle, and then when I didn't hear a whistle, I thought that I had been fooled, and he didn't have the ball. What he does have is a 44-yard run on first down. So a big first play from scrimmage for Witman Hanson. Reed saves a touchdown. There's a handoff right at the middle for nothing this time. We anticipate the defensive ends for Gloucester will be Jimmy Eunice and Danny Murray, 81 and 89. Jamie Wall starting with
Greg Thomas.
Greg Thomas, I'm sorry. Right,
now,
the other tackle,
we can see
right?
his number. I'm sure it was Greg. We're positive. Check out the linebackers for you in a sec.
No gain on that last play.
White man, one of the linebackers.
Yep, working inside, 54. There's a loss on the play. Nice charge by Leo Lattraverse.
Just shot the gap. They had that one snuffed.
And that was Russell Young, and they throw him for a 5-yard loss. 31 on the play. All kinds of offensive substitutions here. He'll throw in different receivers. He'll throw in different running backs. And when I say he, I'm talking about Bob Bancroft, the 27-year coach here at Witman Hanson. Has over 180 victories.
Light, buttery taste that works magic with dips, salads.
That big start to their offensive night. Drop back. No pressure.
Got a receiver.
Too far.
Testaverde with coverage, but the receiver was a little deeper than Testaverde. Pimentel, we're pronouncing that right. I got that to your left, so I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it.
Pimentel with John McMullen, who's the defensive back receiver. I'm sure
we're in the old proverbial 4-down territory.
Yes, 4-down territory, but it's tough when it's 4th and 16. And Pimentel certainly flicked that ball and threw it 30 yards, J.D.
Brendan Ciparini, the other inside linebacker.
Right.
Now Reed flip-flops with Lattraverse defensively.
Lattraverse and Reed are the outside backers. And here's Pimentel on the roll. He's going to go down.
Oh, he gets it away.
He's going to be knocked down. Will knock it down. It's better than they did. They get the ball to 26. Tremendous pressure by Eunice. Just a great play.
Try to see who knocked it down.
I think it was Goodwin.
It's no. Palazzolo.
Oh, Palazzolo. Okay,
yep.
Sorry.
I believe it was Nolan Palazzolo because he goes right over to Paul Ingram to get the play as he's coming back on offense. But I'm pretty sure it was Nolan. But probably better advised to knock it down than to intercept it.
Again, there are going to be times tonight in this glare when the camera's going to pick up the numbers a lot better than your humble hosts. And after all, we did spend the last game calling the Danvers quarterback by the wrong name throughout because of a number switch that we didn't pick up on, and we apologize
flag on the play.
There's a pass down the middle.
Murray
with the catch.
We got a flag. It was thrown immediately after the snap, so let's see what we have.
Gloucester could only hope it was offside.
Murray got the mismatch size-wise, smaller defender.
And also made a nice adjustment on the ball.
Offside.
It is offside,
okay.
And that's what we hoped for. Wow.
Palazzolo threw that in very nicely.
Palazzolo 1 for 2 for 15 yards. Gloucester survives a threat by Witman Hanson, and now they have their initial first down of the game. Witman Hanson does the bookend ends, 87, Justin Randall and Sean Conover, number 88. They're both listed as 6'6", and about 220. They go on offense and defense. Tight formation for the Fishermen. Testaverde over the left side. Testaverde with room.
Kicks it to the outside.
Tries to the outside.
Tripped up nicely.
He tried to break it big. If he stays behind the block, he's probably going to get 8 or 10. He tried to get 59.
Somebody made a nice defensive play over there again. I
think it was number 31.
Couldn't pick up the numbers.
That's Russell Young, 31 on the tackle, I believe, coming up from his linebacker slot. Not a lot of size for Witman Hanson at the linebacker. They're lined up offside.
They are lined up offside.
And he's calling it.
That's obvious.
That's terrible.
Free play for Nolan. He's got Murray.
Murray! Oh my goodness! Oh my God!
Are you kidding me?
Just sign him up for that Division I scholarship. 1A, whatever.
We're going to try to do some slow
The man
motion
is a football
replays.
player, J.D. He's a football
man
player.
alive.
Great
Bob
catch.
McGlinchey tells me we might be able to do a little slow motion stuff. I hope he does, because that was one heck of a catch.
Just feed it into the pivot. Oh, no, it's not in the pivot. He's playing split end for the Gloucester Fishermen. Another first down for Gloucester. And they're into Witman Hanson territory.
Witman Hanson clearly lined up offside.
Oh, yeah, the man was just leaning over the neutral zone. When I can notice it, we know he's offside.
We couldn't see the line of scrimmage because he was so far over it.
6 minutes to go in the first quarter. Gloucester on the move. Pitch play. Testaverde the outside. Testaverde breaks a tackle. He's got another first down, I believe, inside the 35-yard line. That's just a quick pitch and some good blocking out front.
Little screen block by Eunice.
Reza on the pole, I believe.
And we're going to have a measurement.
Dan O'Connor at one tackle. Tyler Stropel at the other tackle. Stropel's 52, O'Connor is 68.
Go Cap Eunice out to check on the measurement. I think they're a little bit shy. About not quite the length of the football.
McKechnie 58, the senior center. Thomas 75 and Reza 59, the guards. Reza a 3-year starter, Thomas a 2-year starter. Transfer from St. John's Prep, Thomas. This is a second down and inches. Gloucester comes up with a tight formation. Handoff is to Giacalone, I believe.
Driven back.
He's got the first down,
he's
though.
Close to it if he doesn't have it.
They're saying stop the clock, so they're saying he got it.
He did. No need for measurement. He got it. Then there was about 5 Witman Hanson shirts got on him, but he had the first down with forward progress.
Speaking of forward progress, I'd still like to see that first Witman Hanson play and whether his forward progress was stopped. But at any rate, Gloucester dodged that bullet. 5:16 counting. 3 first downs for the Fishermen. 2 great catches. 1 sensational catch by Danny Murray. Could they have jumped offside again?
No flag.
Palazzolo with a sack. He's got the ball back. The man who sacked him, if he had paid attention, could have got the ball. That's 88. That's Conover. Conover is being recruited by various schools for his kicking ability as well as his prowess on the football field as a defender and a pass catcher.
Big kid.
Yeah.
And all over. He wasn't touched. He was all over Nolan. Nolan, I'm sure, had no idea he was there. And fortunately, the ball bounced back to Nolan.
About a 7-yard loss on the play, back to the 41-yard line for Gloucester. Handoff on the draw.
Nowhere.
Nowhere indeed.
I think it's the same number 88 on the tackle. It is.
Conover on the tackle again. I think J.D. Gloucester has to get maybe 7 or 8 yards here to think about 4th down because they might want to play field position if they can't get at least half of this 15 yards, even though they are inside the 40-yard line.
I think you're right. Fast moving first period, down to 4 minutes.
We mentioned Bob Bancroft in his 27th year. Of course, Gloucester coach Terry Silver, the winningest coach in Gloucester history in his 21st year. Straight drop back, pump fake. Now he's going to run, and he's going to go. Oh, no,
be
good,
knocked off
gets
balance.
away, gets ahead for about 5 yards, maybe 4 yards. Somehow they decide to mark the clock. I mean, keep the clock running.
They said he didn't go out of bounds.
All right, maybe
we can't
not.
see the sideline.
Yeah.
Witman Hanson players go up in front of it. It was number 87, Bodron. What's got a name on 87?
87 is Randall, Justin Randall. They're the bookend tight ends and
Good
defensive
penetration.
ends. Yep.
Slowed Nolan down a little bit. He did well to get out of the tackle, but the pursuit was following behind Randall.
Their middle guard is number 56, Alex Maskell. He's listed at 5'10" and 289.
Gloucester looks like they're going to go for it.
Yeah, well, it's inside the 35. Now, if they pooch it out, they'd only gain 15 yards, and they have to have confidence in the fact that they can throw the ball. They're going to go with Murray to the right and Goodwin out to the left. Palazzolo with
Goodwin avoids
it's
the
going to be a
tackle.
first down and more. And a very good, strong throw. It's just a spot pass, just a little curl. And Gloucester has 1st and 10, or maybe inside the 15, 1st and 10.
They bring Murray out to the right side, and sure he got double coverage attention. They get Goodwin out there one-on-one. Palazzolo delivers it nicely. The safety comes up on Goodwin. He avoids the tackle, and he gets the ball down to the 15.
It was almost a very casual play for a 4th down and 15, because Murray got up to the line and was just barely set when the play went.
I was not have been surprised to see a flag fly.
If they had flagged him,
if he did get set.
Okay, but anyway, the primary receiver was Goodwin, and he latched onto it and got the necessary yardage for the 1st down. Handoff up the middle for Testaverde, and he gets ahead for about 2 down to the 13-yard line. This is the 2nd possession of the game for Gloucester. They went 3 and out to start the game. Then Witman Hanson broke a nice run on their first play from scrimmage, but Gloucester forced them backwards after that. We're going to be under the 2-minute mark when this play goes. Witman Hanson was down to the Gloucester 20. Gloucester is now at the Witman Hanson 13, 2nd and 8. Palazzolo on the keeper. Palazzolo with room. He's going to be close to another 1st down. I think if he had handed it off, the running back would have scored, and I think he almost scored.
Ciccolone let him up through the hole. Nice hole there off the right side.
Yes, and as Ciccolone was looking for somebody to block finally. Going to be 3rd and 1 for Gloucester. That may be a break. They'll get a chance to get a handoff and get inside the 5-yard line.
6 tries if they need them.
Right. They could get 6 plays from the 6-yard line, which would be excellent. And it's just outside the 5. Look for a tight formation this time, perhaps, with Murray in the double tight end. Handoff over the left side. Touchdown!
Touchdown. Ciccolone.
Ciccolone on the trap. And the Fishermen with an excellent line search there. It wasn't just Ciccolone, it was the offensive line that went into there together.
They blasted out of there. Ciccolone just followed in behind, cuts it out straight to the end zone, and Gloucester's on the scoreboard.
And so what looked like dire consequences when the game started, a great defensive stand and a beautiful 74-yard drive by the Fishermen. One really good catch by Murray, one fantastic catch by Murray, and a great conversion on 4th down, 4th and 15. And I apologize for ever thinking we might punt in their territory. La Traverse with the kick. It's up. It's good. And while we have a second here, we've got Gloucester with a 7-0 lead, and I want to comment about this and never say it again. Do the goalposts look lopsided at this stadium, or is it just me?
No, I'll go along with you. They do look lopsided.
They're probably the right width, but they kind of seem to be leaning a little.
Well, the teams come upfield. Let me take care of a little business.
Okay.
The MIAA is committed to building the future through athletics, and New Balance salutes you, the athletes, parents, teachers, and coaches for your pursuit to excellence.
That's all we have to say to get that MIAA pass. That's fine with us, JD. All right, Gloucester on top, 7-0. Just an excellent drive. Gloucester had to convert on 4th and 15. They did, JD, but through the air and on the ground.
Well, I think the couple of catches by Murray, including the great one just down in front of us, probably set that thing up for Goodwin, because Goodwin draws single coverage. We know Murray's got an excellent pair of hands, as does Mr. Goodwin. He got him out there in single coverage. Nolan threw the ball very, very well, both to Murray and Goodwin. Goodwin in a one-on-one situation makes the catch, gets the big 1st down, and then Gloucester just takes it in from there.
Leo LaTraverse with the kick. Comes down at about the 20, and it's going to go for about an 8-yard return. Good special teams by the Fishermen. See if we can get the man coming up on the bottom there.
I want to give somebody credit, because who is
Robbie Morrissey, 53. Was he? And man, 54.
56 is Aaron Poole.
Aaron Poole, 56 there, okay.
And he single-handedly, if it was him, and as what I saw was a white shirt taking on the wedge, broke it up nicely. And if it was Mr. Poole,
again, we've got Palazzolo working as a slash cornerback safety, but we've also got man-to-man coverage here so that he's not always lined up as safety.
Into the secondary.
Good running play for about 8 yards. A little misdirection play and carrying the ball. It was Ryan Griffith, number 30.
We understand Witman Hanson goes basically with 4 backs, and now we see two different backs coming in, 2 coming out. They do running back by committee. Each one of them, we understand, is pretty good.
Tony Salia, 32, checks in. We'll also see John McMullen. Handoff over to the left side, and running room, and again, off to the races.
Man to beat is
Testaverde's going to catch him.
They're after him. I think
Reed's going to get him again. Oh. So right up the middle for Witman Hanson. They see a weakness there. And they're threatening to get right back into this game. Not that they were ever out of it, but
Reed on the pursuit.
was it Reed or Goodwin who made the final tackle?
I think a couple of them got there. I think Goodwin may have been the one who ran him down. Reed forces him a little bit to the right, and Goodwin, and he had a little help there too. I'm not sure if it wasn't Palazola with him.
First and goal at the 7. Could be the last play of the first quarter. And Witman Hanson's going to let the clock run out, as a matter of fact. So, 2 big running play for Witman Hanson, but 1 big scoring drive for Gloucester is the story of the first period. But Witman Hanson is in position to tie this game up or go ahead or be behind 7-6 as we start second quarter right after this. Welcome back to second period action in the Division III playoffs between Gloucester and Witman Hanson. Gloucester on top 7-0 after the first quarter, but Witman Hanson threatening, breaking another long run in which Gloucester had to tackle a man from behind to save a touchdown, and now Gloucester is trying to stave off a second Witman Hanson scoring opportunity in as many drives for them. They made it the 20 the first time. This time it's going to be first and goal at the 7-yard line.
Well, at Bunfield first period, Witman Hanson, as you said, stalled deep in Gloucester territory. Gloucester with a nice, I think it was 74-yard drive, but Witman Hanson, following the kickoff, comes right back and then get to navigate about 7 yards. First and goal.
They're going to come up with the tight formation. Pimentel's the quarterback. Handoff.
No, he's rolling.
No, it is to the left side. He's going to save. It's a touchdown.
No, he doesn't get him.
He's in there. Once again, a nice fake by the quarterback after he makes the handoff, and the runner off to the left side broke a couple tackles and got in for the touchdown. And that's 31 Russell Young, I believe.
Either 30 or 31.
Oh,
sure. Might have been 30. I think it was
all right, 30, okay. That's Ryan Griffith.
And he spoke off that long run in the first period.
Right.
But he got into the pile. It looked like they might have had him stopped. He takes himself to the outside. Gloucester had a couple of shots at him, but got himself into the end zone.
Well, Coach Terry Silver is exactly right when he said they have a bunch of runners who run hard. Kick by Pimentel is up, and it's good. And we're tied up with 10:53 to go in the second quarter. And perhaps the biggest surprise here is that Witman Hanson doesn't have anything through the air yet, but they certainly have a touchdown, and they've got a lot of yards on the ground in 2 possessions.
Well, I have to think they're seeing something on the Gloucester defense that they want to exploit, and if they can do that on the ground, again, the ground game sets up the passing game. 2 things can go wrong in the passing game, only 1 thing can go wrong in the running game, so there's not a coach alive that doesn't want to do it on the ground. Witman Hanson's doing it on the ground, and they'll probably stay there as long as it's working.
One thing's for sure, we have 2 very good ball handlers in the, at quarterback. You can definitely tell Pimentel knows what he's doing.
Well, we're partial to Nolan, but
yeah.
Mr. Pimentel is
right.
pretty nifty himself.
And he carries out the fake. It goes right. You know, twice he's had Gloucester linebackers running after him when he's carried out the fake. All right, the Fishermen will receive the kickoff. We've got a 7-7 contest. We anticipated there could be some touchdowns on the scoreboard here, and there's no reason to think that won't be the case.
Well, we said it earlier, 2 high-scoring games, and both teams have on occasion given up points, and therein lies the matchup.
And the Gloucester is the 2nd highest scoring team in the state, and the highest scoring team in the state was Lynn Classical, and they're the ones staying home. They may be the best 9-1 team around eastern Massachusetts.
A team called Zavarian and Lynn Classical will be quite a matchup.
Here's a kick and handle coming up the right side. Some blocking. Goodwin gets it up past the 32-yard line. That bank of lights up there I should have known it was Goodwin because he sets up on the right side. But that bank of lights right up there makes it very hard to identify numbers on that side of the field.
And
the lights are a little low here.
Our camera has virtually the same angle, so Bob McGlinchey's doing his level best to give you a good picture. But the lights are situated in a funny way. Do the best that we can, and let's see what Gloucester's ready for now.
People continue to come in. It's possible to stand on the track here. You don't have a very good view of the field, but you can get into the stadium. Handoff over the left side.
Palazzola.
Oh, I'm sorry, the fake, and Palazzola goes down. All right, no handoff. He held on to it.
Number 33 for Witman Hanson rises down.
Okay, gets the original line of scrimmage was marked at the, I guess Goodwin must have stepped out of bounds before he took that dive over the 30. So he actually, the original line of scrimmage is just inside the 30. So Gloucester with about a yard on that play. 2nd and 9.
Witman Hanson coaching staff is going after the referee on the sideline. Very, very upset about something, and I'm not sure what.
Murray set out to the right this time. Murray, this is deflected at the line. The pass was intended for Murray, just a quick hitter, but it was deflected by a lineman, and it was a low sidearm toss, I believe, by Palazzola.
From this angle, it appeared that it had to be deflected. He was throwing out away from our angle, but it appears that somebody might have got a piece of it.
The Witman Hanson band is now rocking down to our right now that they're on the scoreboard, so 9:59 to go in the second quarter. I'm Bob Drowan along with J.D. McEachran at Dennis M. O'Brien Field.
We have a timeout.
Looks like
they're spotting the ball.
Okay, they put it at the wrong place. It should be just past the 30-yard line.
Picked up about a half a yard on that.
Well, still 3rd and 9. Goodwin out to the left. This time Murray out to the right again. Palazzola on the center. Long count. Palazzola rolls right. Has a man, and it's Murray.
Goodwin.
Goodwin, I'm sorry. Goodwin on the same pattern, the drag pattern with Murray going to the right. I just saw the one, and of course, Murray's 5 inches taller than Goodwin. And Goodwin, that was the same play they ran on the first series of the game, JD, and this time it was thrown perfectly, and this time also Palazzola had more time to throw.
Well, the same thing. Murray lines up to the right side, goes straight down the field. Goodwin picks up single coverage, comes across the field. Palazzola delivers it very, very nicely, and first down Fisher. Big first down, Gloucester.
First down at the 46-yard line, almost the 47. Tight formation. Handoff.
Screen.
No, it's a screen pass. Oh, wow. That's a face mask? Okay.
They're going to get a face mask.
And that was quite a play by number 44.
That's a break for the Fishermen, because a big loss for Gloucester is going to be negated with a face mask penalty.
Okay.
And see if this is a 5 or a 15.
That was 64. Mark Hutchings, one of the defensive tackles.
That's a huge, huge turn of events, as Palazzola was thrown for a big, big loss. The defender must have got the face mask. Referee couldn't get the flag out of his pocket fast enough. It happened right in front of him. So instead of the big loss, they get the ball down to the 38-yard line, first down.
That's a huge play. Indeed, J.D. First and 10 at the 39-yard line. Tight formation by Gloucester. Goodwin in motion. Goodwin gets the ball over the right side. Goodwin with a hole. Gets ahead for about 9.
Thomas.
A good kick-out block over there. I believe it was by Thomas. Yeah. 2nd and 1. A good down again for the Fishermen. They can think about trying to do something through the air, J.D. Just pick it up on the ground.
Also, Tyler Stropel in that offensive line helped Goodwin, but nice cut up by Goodwin.
Gloucester's going to stick with the tight formation here with 2nd and short. Palazzola drops, looks deep. Has a man on the sideline. That's Murray, and Murray goes out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. And kind of a mirror image, except this time Goodwin was the deep man, and Murray was the drag man.
Behind. And they're getting a matchup they want to, a smaller defender on Murray, right along the sideline. Palazzola again puts the ball right in there, had plenty on it.
We're going to defensive timeout by Witman Hanson. The coaches want to talk it over. They're getting burned here by the same play a couple times, JD. But it's a variation on a play where Gloucester also, sometimes this year, they've had Goodwin go deep. Murray go intermediate, and Eunice come underneath, and/or the running back come underneath. So there's a little variation on the play. It's not just the same play, but it's different personnel in different areas.
Well, we said it all along that Gloucester has many weapons with the three primary receivers, and that would be Murray and Goodwin and Eunice. But you can slide somebody out of that backfield also, and I think we're going to see that at some point. And then they're going to hit you with the ground game. So a lot of weapons, offensive weapons at Paul Ingram's disposal, and he's making use of them right now.
Murray comes into the game with 24 catches for over 500 yards, almost exactly 21 yards per catch, I should say. He's also run the ball a few times. He's run the ball a few times, end around, one time for 31 yards, I believe. And Goodwin with a tremendous average, 12 catches and over 35 yards per catch, and of course, the biggest catch of the year.
Down, and that still astounds me that he's only made 12 catches. And
maybe
I know John Darkinas never misses on a stat, and we started thinking back, and there had to be a couple of games when he didn't make a catch. But it seems there's been an awful lot of big plays, and Kyle Goodwin's been part of them.
None bigger than a 70-yarder against Lynn Classical.
Indeed.
All right, first attempt for the Fishermen inside the Witman Hanson 20. Second consecutive solid drive by Gloucester. This one, pitch play, Testaverde to the outside.
Blocking out there.
Easy. Into the end zone, big blocks.
Jimmy Eunice sealed off the entire defensive side of the Witman Hanson line, and then Kyle Goodwin, and there was another block in there too. I'm sorry I didn't pick it up, but Jimmy Eunice single-handedly set that play up as he just sealed everybody off inside of him. Goodwin had gone in motion. He turns upfield. He throws a block too. There's one other block in there, but that's pretty darn easy. Nobody laid a glove on him.
18-yard touchdown run by Tyler Testaverde, and the Fishermen look sharp on offense. Now we're going to find out if Witman Hanson can be contained. And the battle of the extra points. Kevin LaTraverse will try for his second. Kick is up. Kick looks perfect. And in good indeed. So it's a 14-7. 14-7 Gloucester lead. 8:25 to go in the second quarter. Fisherman offense looks very sharp, JD.
That is an understatement. They're coming at you, as we said, Paul Ingram with many weapons at his disposal. And the passing game, Nolan is throwing very well. The running game is there, and when Witman Hanson thinks they got something figured out, because we have to point out too that
they took advantage of the penalty.
Big defensive play. Referee right there grabbed the face mask instead of the big loss, and might have changed momentum, at least for the time being. Gloucester gets the first down, and they capitalize.
Yeah, that definitely could have been a big play for stopping the drive, but Gloucester still would have had a chance to keep going because it was on a first down play. But the fact of the matter is it's a 30-yard swing, and that's a big swing when you're driving 70 yards for a touchdown.
Look around the field. There's more people standing than sitting here. They're allowing people down right on the sideline. So it's a pretty good vantage spot. There's a track surrounding the field. And,
we got Mark Kelleher back. I haven't seen you. Number 33 is back for Witman Hanson on the kickoff, along with Ryan Armstrong, 22. The other backs that we've already mentioned are the second liners there. LaTraverse. His kick is allowed to bounce and picked up by Kelleher. Kelleher will come back up the right side. It breaks a couple tackles. It gets up to the 26. Not a bad return.
He did well to get what he got. It was a bouncing kick. Gloucester with good downfield coverage, and he got a little bit more than I thought he was going to get. I think, again, Witman Hanson has showed us the ground game, and it'll be interesting to see if they elect to stay on the ground, looking at a 7-point deficit, or if we're going to see a little bit of the ball in the air.
Okay, it's the same defensive backfield. We've got Tyler Stropo who's going to be in a linebacker now for Chipperini. So he's going back to both ways. Handoff up the middle, and this one is stopped. And the ball, boy, they keep running. You got to blow the whistle sometime, JD.
Yeah, but you play the whistle. That's the game, and they're giving Gloucester an opportunity to try to reach in there and strip it.
I admire the running back for Witman Hanson for keeping the legs churning, but ultimately that's going to cost Witman Hanson a turnover if Gloucester swipes at the ball, like you said.
Jamie Wall.
Jamie Wall is in there.
Help make the stop.
With La Traverse. No, is it? No, it's still. It's Eunice in the inside now and O'Connor on the outside. Okay, Eunice is playing defensive tackle now.
This is something they did against Swampscott.
Yeah.
Moved Eunice to the inside.
And Gloucester jumps but gets back. Gloucester almost jumps again.
And
Gloucester
motion.
must have.
No,
It was
Witman
something.
Hanson on the
Okay.
left side. That'll be 5 yards Witman Hanson.
That was a long count
Left
that
hand move.
almost got Gloucester to jump twice, and then it cost Witman Hanson 5 yards. So they wound up getting 1 yard on that first carry when it looked like a 2-yard loss, JD, and the slowest whistle in the South Shore here, but we're not all the way to the South Shore. But
If they're going to go with the long count, they're going to make sure everybody on this side of the ball is tuned in. They got Gloucester to jump a couple times, but the count was so long, they got back, and the movement was on the left side of the
we've got Palazzolo lined up in the safety spot when they play it tight. Handoff up the middle, nowhere, and that's a nice tackle.
That's Eunice.
That's,
No, it's not Eunice.
no, it's Stropel?
Eunice is the first one
52,
up. Stropel's
Stropel.
on the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, Stropel with a little run blitz there.
Shot the hole.
That was a little misdirection play, and it might have gone, except for Stropel, JD. So a nice play. Under 7 minutes to go now in the second quarter. 14-7 Fishermen. Big play here for Witman Hanson, because the Gloucester offense has got some momentum. And although we hear this Conover kid is a tremendous punter, if they can't renew the downs here, Gloucester's got a chance for some decent field position. Two receivers, left and right. Pimentel looks deep. He's got a man.
receiver, and he's got a catch all around
Good
midfield.
catch. Nice throw. Goodwin saves the touchdown, but he can't take away the catch by Ryan Armstrong, 22. And Armstrong is their main receiver, and Pimentel comes up with a big pass play when he needs it, JD.
Pimentel had a couple of receivers out, one deep, one a little bit shallower. The deep man got behind the defender. Pimentel throws it up over the defense. That was a nice catch. Caught it over his shoulder and puts the ball into Gloucester territory. Witman Hanson gets themselves out of a hole.
Armstrong with 6 touchdown passes this year that he's caught. Pimentel with the ball, and he's going to go down after about a yard gain. I don't know if there was a handoff there he was trying to make.
Right.
And
I don't know if that was a busted play. Or
could have been. But anyway, Witman Hanson certainly got themselves out of a problematic situation on that third down completion.
Greg Thomas into the defensive line for the Fishermen. Eunice back to his defensive end spot. They had moved him inside for a couple of plays down in Witman Hanson territory.
Man and Stropel at inside linebacker. And this is a pass play over the middle. He's got him. Armstrong is open. He's gone. We have ourselves a shootout, JD.
Well, we said Witman Hanson was doing it on the ground. We wondered if they'd go to the air. They had to go to the air to get themselves out of a hole. They got out of the hole, and Pimentel comes back, goes the other side. Nice throw.
42
that was
yards.
A nice throw.
Beautiful throw. Split the defenders and perfect pass. So Witman Hanson goes from a third down and 16, and 3 plays later in the end zone, JD, on 2 pass plays and a 1-yard run. Going for the tie with 5:20 left in the second quarter. Kick is up, and the kick looks to be good, and it is good. 14-14. Already got that feeling. Last team with the ball, JD. I don't know. 14 all. 5:20 to go in the second quarter.
Well, we'll echo what we said earlier, that both teams can score, have scored, and both teams have been scored upon. And but I hate these games when it comes down to the last possession. We got a long way to go. 5:20 in the first half, and let's just hope at some point that the back and forth just goes forth for the Fishermen.
Okay. Well, Gloucester's got a chance to fire next, and it's always a bit of an advantage for the team that scores first in these sequences, because then sometime if they can get a stop and get that 2-touchdown lead, that can make it easier for the defense. But there may not be any 2-touchdown leads in this game.
Not the way we're going, but one never knows. There hasn't been the turnover hasn't been either side. And we thought that could be decisive. He who hangs on to the football has been scoring with the football, and they're both hanging on to it, and they're both scoring.
Well, both teams with 3 possessions. Both teams, Gloucester with a punt and 2 touchdowns, and Witman Hanson stopped on downs and 2 touchdowns. Here's the ball bouncing for Jack Reed. Reed's going to come back up. He's going to try and get to the outside. There's going to be a flag on the play. And Gloucester's going to start back at about the 13 after that one's walked off. JD.
I think they will be going backwards. Reed, and I'm sure what happened on the blocker, Reed takes the ball over on this side. Thought he saw some running room over on the far side, and that just changes the defensive momentum, makes them go the other way, and in doing so, hands on the back, and back it does go. We'll see where they end up marking it.
Okay, all right, that's not too bad, inside the 20. Gloucester only got back to about the 26 anyway, so. Murray split out wide to the left. John McMullen's got him one-on-one out there. Long count, handoff to the fullback, I believe.
Yes.
Head for about 3 yards on the play.
Tackle made by 54.
And 54, I believe, is Zach Lipinski.
He just virtually followed, I think it was Gigaloni on the carry, followed him into the hole, wrapped him up. Good for maybe a yard.
2nd and 8. Palazzolo with a quick throw to the side. And a nice hit. Somehow held on to the ball.
The fact that he was able to hang on to that ball is pretty spectacular. He gave the defender an inviting target, ball up over his head, goes up, makes a real nice catch, gets drilled in the chest, able to hang on to the football. Got maybe about 4 yards on the play.
Earned those 4 yards.
Every inch of it.
And that's a play where you want to get the ball to your receiver so he can catch it and make a move. You don't want to hang him out to dry, as it were. All right, 3rd down and 6 for the Fishermen. Nobody wants to blink in this duel. Pitch play. Testaverde gets the outside. Got a hold on the play. Testaverde's going to get the 1st down and more, but we got a hold. That's right where they throw it.
This was the play basically that they used for the touchdown.
Oh, block it below the knee, I guess, or below the waist,
Okay,
or clip. I don't know. What was that one? All right. Anyway, Gloucester's going to be looking at 3rd and long. We know that. It'll be half the distance to the goal, I believe, JD.
They back it up. Back to the 15.
I think it'll get back to about the 13. They marked. They threw the flag at about the 26. That's going to make it 3rd and 17.
Blocking below the knees is the signal.
Yeah, this is a tough spot. Gloucester, of course, has the ability to go 83 yards in one play, but
under 4 minutes in the first half, Gloucester obviously would like to maintain possession.
Gloucester going to call a timeout here.
Gloucester.
You sense that both teams are aware of the offensive capabilities here, and they don't want to give anybody a short field. And therefore, Gloucester certainly wants to try and get the 1st down, but maybe they'll set up some kind of a screen pass that if they a safe pass play, as it were, to give Testaverde a chance to break it, or somebody, or even a tight end screen with if they line up the tight ends tight or something like that. But
Gloucester over to the far sideline. Witman Hanson huddled down below us. As we said, we've got the Witman Hanson assistant coaches set up down to our right. To our left is Mike Bennett, one of the Gloucester assistants, with former assistant Tom Walsh. And they're both leaned over the railing and talking intently down to, I think it's Terry on the headsets. So,
all right, the Fishermen come back.
We are set.
Again, those big bookend defensive ends out there. Sean Conover, 6'6", 222. He's listed, and Justin Randall, 6'6", 210.
Goodwin splits far, right.
Going to have 3 receivers. Testaverde's in the slot. Could be a draw play just the same, though.
It
and it is. Okay.
And, they were very ready.
They were ready for that. We tried to spread the field, but unfortunately,
64 defensively for Witman Hanson, just stayed right home.
And it's going to be a Gloucester punt. So Gloucester, I'm not going to say conservative there, but certainly they're not taking a chance of turning it over and giving Witman Hanson a really short field. Although chances are they're going to have a
fairly short.
They're probably going to have the ball somewhere between the Gloucester 40 and the Gloucester 30.
And that rare occurrence that we haven't seen very often this year, a Gloucester punt.
Yeah, well, definitely this is the first time they've punted twice in the same game, I believe.
Lauterverse backed up right on the end zone line.
Lauterverse had a good punt the first time. Good snap again.
Ooh.
This is a good kick.
Under pressure.
And it's fumbled, and he's going to just have to cover at the 45. It's a break for the fisherman.
Yes. I wonder if they weren't going to set up a little handoff. I think he was trying to reposition the ball, and they might have tried a little crisscross. They faked that on the opening kickoff, and it looked like he might have had some thoughts about handing that ball off. But good smart play. He drops it, falls on it. Field position is still okay on the 45 of the fisherman. 2:58 showing on the clock, and that's been pretty accurate.
Witman Hanson with a short field. Armstrong set out to the left. Pimentel tries to sneak it and gets ahead for about 2. I don't know. That appeared to be a call play. I don't know if you saw a gap.
The 2 gentlemen from Witman Hanson to our right were screaming timeout, timeout. I think it was a call play, and Gloucester must have changed something defensively. Normally, you try that quarterback draw when there's nobody lined up behind the center, and you get a little room, maneuvering room. And they must have looked at the Gloucester defense and realized that Gloucester had the right defense for the play that they called.
2 receivers out to the right, Armstrong and McMullen. McMullen goes in motion. This is a draw. And it's going to work, and it's going to be a touchdown.
It's going to be a touchdown.
And that was not good defense. That was not good defense, folks.
Draw play, and
that was
somebody
too easy.
Was amongst the missing over there.
Mike Dillon, his first carry of the night. They were looking past. Now here's the situation. Gloucester spread the field down here, JD, and the draw didn't work, which is tougher. And this was a very simple draw play, and the Gloucester defense looked poor.
Once he got into the secondary, there wasn't a white shirt in sight. Somebody went the wrong way, and what looked like it might be a draw play for a couple yards, it's a draw play for a touchdown.
As they say in boxing, didn't lay a glove on him. So Witman Hanson looking for a 7-point lead. The kick is up.
Strong.
Kick is good. So let's see. Let's put the good news. The good news is Gloucester has 2:05 to try and put something on the scoreboard. But Witman Hanson scored that time much too easily.
Well, you said short field was a concern, and Witman Hanson justified your concerns. And they got a good block at the line of scrimmage, and 2 steps into the secondary, you call it, he was gone.
And they come at you in waves, JD. He likes to substitute 3 guys at a time, Bancroft, and he usually substitutes 2 skilled people and one of the defensive ends or one of the tight ends. And you know, that was Dillon's first carry of the night. He's mentioned in our report as one of the 5 running backs they use.
Well, there's a lot of confidence when you can substitute skilled people back and forth. And again, it goes back to Pimentel. He must have a lot of faith in the young man that he can handle the handoffs to anybody. And they certainly have been using the platoon system to good advantage.
For the first time tonight, it's Witman Hanson with the lead, and we see how Gloucester reacts right now, JD.
They got timeouts to use.
Low kick.
Big high bounce.
Goodwin gets it on a nice bounce. Comes back to the right. Makes a move. Gets up to about the 37-yard line. So that's decent field position. I have to wonder why they kicked it like that.
Well, I think they felt that they were not expecting it to take that kind of a bounce. It was absolutely set up for Goodwin. And they had a little run back set up on the right side. And they get themselves out with a decent enough field position. and just under 2 minutes to do something about it.
Gloucester's going to take the field position of 37, evidently.
There was a procedure penalty, probably offside. Looked like...
I think that's the only thing it can be.
The guy, one of the Witman Hanson guys on this side of the ball, got there before the ball was kicked.
Gloucester's going to have to call a timeout, as they're a little bit uncertain about what they were going to call on the first play. Maybe they're a little bit uncertain about what they wanted to do on the penalty, and then lost.
Well, they looked like they made a substitute. Well, anyway, Nolan Palazzolo back over and talked to Paul Ingram. And back
most of all, we hope it's a timeout they don't need later.
Right. It's a timeout they just soon not have to have used.
All right, McKechnie leads them out. Murray split to the right. Oh no, double tight end. He doesn't go to the right.
This could be the Eunice.
Palazzolo with the long count. Palazzolo's got the ball. And
beat him.
Oh, intercepted off on the deflection.
With some running room.
It's going down at the 20, at the 16-yard line, and that was number 33. Mark Kelleher, who returned that kickoff. Other than that, he's been in a defensive back. And that was just one of those balls that just seemed to go right off Murray's arm, right into Kelleher.
It just a little too far. Danny stretched out as far as he could. And the defensive back, actually, the coverage was a little bit behind Murray, but because it's a little too far for Murray. Nice play by the defenseman to be able to run the ball down, and Witman Hanson.
Really a good reaction play to get that ball. Now Gloucester's going to get tough.
Little quick.
This is a corner throw. Touchdown. Touchdown.
Match, touchdown.
Perfect bay pattern.
Beautiful spot pass. He fakes it out to the right. One-on-one coverage out to the far side. He just throws it up. And a little wrestling match down there. I don't know who the receiver was, but Pimentel put it in a nice spot. And the receiver and the defender get in a little wrestle. And the receiver comes up with the ball, and Gloucester's got some problems.
Okay, I think it was number 30 again. Ryan Griffith. And Gloucester's in deep trouble. 28-14 if they get this extra point. And not only that, but they're not even coming close to stopping Witman Hanson right now. And that's a beautiful throw by Pimentel, don't get me wrong.
Another strong kick.
Yeah. Kick is
Another
good.
Good kick.
1:38 to go in the first half, and Witman Hanson suddenly has that 2-touchdown lead. We wondered if either team would get JD.
Well, we thought with Gloucester getting the ball back with a couple minutes to go, down a touchdown, opportunity to get themselves back into a tie ball game at halftime. Throw the pass out a little bit wide of Murray. Defensive player makes a nice catch, puts him in position. Pimentel fakes the ball out to the right, little pump fake, and the defender out on the left, man gets behind him. Pimentel throws it up and over, where his guy had a good shot at it. The defender gets back to it. They both get their hands on it, but the defender has the best position. He comes up with a touchdown.
So the Fishermen have some work to do. We hope that they might be able to do something before this half ends, JD. It could depend a lot on what kind of field position they get after this kickoff.
Well, the good news is Witman Hanson scored very, very quickly.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's still
138.
Unofficially 138.
On the kick from Pitt is number 88, Sean Collier. Right kick to receive the ball from number 23. Side kick to number 11.
And quarterback Pimentel showing arm strength and touch.
Nice touch on that last pass.
Here's the kick by Conover. This one's going to go directly in the air, and it could be a good return for Gloucester. Goodwin gets to the outside, and Goodwin gets up close to the 40.
Breaks away from a tackler, up around the 40.
So that does give Gloucester some field position to work with once again. And it's been a bugaboo for the Fishermen this year. It really hadn't really crossed my mind, but when they do turn the ball over, it's been in the second quarter a lot. And unfortunately, when they do turn it over in the second quarter, they usually pay the price.
Well, just as quickly as we said, neither team was turning it over. Witman Hanson gets to capitalize on a Gloucester turnover. Murray comes out wide to this side.
Goodwin is split out to the right. Straight drop back.
Under pressure.
Goodwin is
Intercepted again.
Disastrous. That was a catchable ball for Goodwin. It went through his hands. It wasn't a perfect pass. But now Gloucester's really up against it, J.D.
I think it's buddy number 30 again on the interception. Now Witman Hanson's got an opportunity.
Ryan Griffith having a great game here tonight. Ryan Armstrong, and of course the quarterback Pimentel. Well, the good news is at the 40-yard line this time, J.D., and 1:20 left on the clock, and the Fishermen need badly to hold.
Absolutely, no question.
Especially considering Witman Hanson gets the second half kickoff. Draw play, and this one's not going to work, although it takes a while to get the man down again. And that was
timeout called by Witman Hanson, I believe.
Tyler
sure
Stropel again on the draw.
Right.
52. So Stropel, who was just starting the game tonight as an offensive tackle, came in back into his middle linebacker spot that he's held most of the season, going both ways. And he's made a couple of good plays on draw plays, but we also saw a draw play that wasn't to his side that went for a touchdown, the second Witman Hanson touchdown.
Well, you had to think on the draw play that they were hoping they were catching the Fishermen thinking pass.
Oh, definitely.
Because they have sprung that one loose for some yardage.
Worth a try, but right now it's 2nd and 10 after they use the timeout. 1:13 to go unofficially in the first half. Pimentel with the drop, looking for a screen. Looking just a flat pass, and really too much pressure that time.
Good pressure. Coverage over here by Latravers on the intended receiver.
Eunice and Danny Murray and Mann on a blitz, I believe. It looked like when he dropped back so deeply so quickly, I thought it was a screen, but it was really, he just was under the pressure, but he did intend to throw short, but the man was out of the pattern.
Again, Eunice has moved into a defensive tackle.
Be interesting to see what they do here if Gloucester stops him on 3rd down and on an incomplete pass. Straight drop back, looking over the middle, and that one's low. And
pressure again.
Pressure Murray. And dropping back into the pass
Murray
defense. Yeah.
Reed was there too. A little too quickly. Looks like a punting unit coming out.
Yeah. Well, they don't want to give Gloucester field position at the 40. They can't do that. So a good defensive stand by the Fishermen. Could have been really disastrous if they not went in there.
Well, they got a couple plays where they got some good pressure on Pimentel.
Yeah.
Gloucester doesn't want to mishandle this, though. I think it behooves them to kind of leave it be. And oh, they fake.
He's going
Gloucester
down.
is ready for it.
Oh, yes. Good play by the Fishermen. All right. Interesting call.
Snapped it to the up man. 22 was the carrier.
That's Ryan Armstrong.
Good job, Gloucester.
And that's Stropel again, I believe. So Stropel's done a great job since he started playing two ways.
Well, again, we said both teams had chances to digest film, and we have to think that that's one that they were at least anticipating. And Stropel with good coverage.
56 seconds and Gloucester at the 41.
A little favor for the Fishermen. See if they can take advantage.
Witman Hanson definitely going for the jugular with the fake punt. Fishermen looking over the middle.
Lobbing it up there for Eunice.
Breaks the tackle.
Still on his feet.
Inside the 25-yard line. Nice throw, nice fingertip catch by Eunice. And 46 seconds, plenty of time for the Fishermen. If the Fishermen can get in here, J.D., we may be marking down that fake punt as a turning point.
We knew that sooner or later they had to find Eunice. Goodwin and Murray, the primary receivers. Eunice comes out of his tight end spot, just goes down the field. Nolan just lobs it up there nicely for him. Jimmy makes the catch and drags about 3 Witman Hanson defenders with him and puts Gloucester at least in a position where they get some cracks at it.
So the 36-yard pass gives Gloucester a 1st and 10 situation. The ball deep in the center line.
McCagney leads them out. Murray split out to the right. No, Murray's going to the left. Okay.
Okay, now Testaverde is right. Good
Double wing.
Slot.
Palazzolo looks for Murray in the end zone. He's got it. He's got it. Touchdown. Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Oh, what a
great catch. Great
what
catch.
A throw.
Outstanding. He put it where nobody else could catch it except Murray, and then maybe nobody else on this field could have caught it.
Murray covered by a defender, but the defender about 6 inches shorter. Palazzolo throws it up into the end zone. Murray, beautiful concentration, and Palazzolo does his part. Murray does his part, and Gloucester still in the game.
Huge swing for the Fishermen.
Wow.
Huge swing.
Traverse,
Kevin Traverse for the kick.
Big kick. Want to keep it a 7-point
margin. Want to keep it at 7 indeed.
Good
kick is up. Looks good.
Beauty. That's a good
strong
kick.
leg. Hey,
well,
this game is tied towards the end. La Traverse looks like he can make a 40-yard field goal, no sweat, JD.
Well, your theory of last team with the ball may come into play yet.
Well, I mean, Gloucester got a big stop and didn't pay for their second turnover, which was so crucial, and got another score on the board. I mean, this game could easily have been 35-14, JD. We know that. And now it's 28-21 and 37 seconds to go. Hopefully it'll be 28-21 at the half. Unless, of course, they wanted to fumble the kickoff, but we're not counting on that.
Well, we thought it was a fast-moving first half until the last minute and a half, which is taken forever. But the good news is Gloucester takes advantage of a Jim Eunice catch to put him in position. Then Nolan finds cousin Danny in the corner. That's Jimmy Eunice's cousin, not Nolan's cousin. And again, what a weapon that is. I mean, 6'5" target. And absolutely well-thrown football, and Murray, beautiful concentration. I mean, beautiful concentration.
If you're in the Eunice family, everybody's your cousin, JD.
This is true. Well, I grew up on Myrtle Square, and I got a whole lot of cousins.
Cousin Tommy's right down there watching this game. All right, big swing for the Fishermen. Can only think about the fake punt they didn't stop in 98 in the Super Bowl.
High kick.
Coming right up the middle and breaking through a little bit of a gap. Armstrong, he's a tough runner. Oh, we got a face mask. I think that's going to give him some field position. When they all throw it, it looks like a face mask, I believe.
Well, that time, by fighting for the extra yardage, he's going to pick up some penalty yardage on top of it. And it is a face mask, and it's probably going to be a major.
It's going to get him out into Gloucester territory.
Yard. Okay, it wasn't a major.
Oh, it was a 5-yard? No,
yeah.
It's 15.
No, he spotted it down on the 41.
Really?
That's inadvertent.
Oh, okay, all right.
The same
that's
signal.
That's a break. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right, he's just throwing the ball. Okay, that's a big break indeed. Those 10 yards would be crucial. Because when two guys threw it, that doesn't usually mean inadvertent. Hand off, and it's up the middle, and it's going to be... It's
running room. He's got the sideline now.
Well, he should have gone out of bounds.
Yeah,
now we got another flag. That could be a face mask again.
It's another face mask.
Another face mask. And that's a simple play. That's just a running play just to see if they can keep things interesting. This is not good.
This is another 5-yard, though, so they've dodged somewhat of a bullet.
Wow.
Yeah, they didn't take the sideline, but then they pick up 5 yards because of the face
Gloucester.
mask.
I bet. Gloucester's taking a defensive timeout. No, yeah, they did. They had to. They weren't ready for that. They looked.
Witman Hanson hustled right up to the ball.
Yeah. Witman Hanson says, "We're coming right at you. We don't care if it's 37 seconds or 3.2 seconds." Gloucester seemed a little bit too self-satisfied to be back in the game at 28-21 with that defensive alignment and some shaky tackling.
Well, I think the Gloucester coaching staff sensed that they were a little too concerned about the face mask call, and Witman Hanson was all set to snap the ball. So quickly they get the timeout, regroup defensively, but this gives Witman Hanson an opportunity to get over with their coaching staff and see what they concoct for the last 22 seconds.
Gloucester's going to go into the halftime with the momentum if they can avert disaster in the last 22 seconds, JD. And that would be a big momentum because they would have scored late after their second turnover when they stopped the fake punt at the 40, got the big shot to Eunice down the middle, and then the great touch pass in the corner of the end zone, and Murray just another fabulous play.
Jesse Williams, safety man.
4 defensive backs in there, 3 linebackers. Handoff again up the middle, and it didn't work this time, and they go with the quick timeout. That's a little bit much trying to get that again.
Against Tyler Stropel.
Yeah.
Along with Wall.
Because even if that play's got to go for, I think, 20 yards to really be useful, because by the time they set it up, I mean, they can call the quick timeout, but if it goes for 20 yards, it's going to take even longer to get this clock stopped. And but they have 16 seconds left. Of course, he has the arm to go to the end zone. He's already shown that.
Well, it would behoove the fishermen. I mean, the easiest thing to say, and I think all the thousands of people in the stadium will say the same thing. They've got to make a defensive stop here. They just go down, dodge a major bullet, put in a touchdown that brings them within 7 points, and it would be extremely deflating if they give it right back again.
Especially since they made the great defensive stop at the 40 and then stopped the trick play on the punt. That, you know, that's the best sequence of the game for them. And then to capitalize on it in 2 plays, almost scoring too fast, as it were, at the end of the half. But, you know, I was speculating 3 minutes and 49 seconds ago about them going ahead by a touchdown, and there's been 3 touchdowns in the last 3:49 so far. Fake, looking, no, gets to the outside.
He's being pursued.
Throws
it up for grabs. And
there's a touchdown, yeah, call over. Up for grabs. Up for grabs. Never should have been thrown.
Tremendous defensive pressure. Pivotel throws it down the middle of the field. Defender tries to deflect it.
He didn't, he missed it. Conover there, 5 seconds to go in the half. That's a crusher, JD.
Absolute crusher.
And he heaved it. He's running from left to right, and he threw it back across his body. It's a nice throw, but it's a throw that hung up there forever, and it came down in the hands of the 6'6" receiver. And whoa! If you like offense, this is your cup of tea. But if you're for the fishermen, that's a tough one.
Another good kick.
Kick is up, and the kick is good. 35-21. We thought Gloucester was right back in it. We know they're not out of it because they can score, but they've got to prove they can stop Witman Hanson. They haven't done it, JD.
Well, not when there's 35 points sitting on the home side of the scoreboard. Gloucester, it looked like they had made the nice defensive play, as you said. They go in, they put it in the end zone. Then aided by a couple of 5-yard penalties. We thought Witman Hanson had made a little mistake in not getting out of bounds. But they make the play. Pivotel shows a strong enough arm. He puts it down around the goal line. Defender plays the ball and doesn't get a piece of the ball. Tall receiver gathers it in, and 14 points again. Well,
I was thinking back to last year when we got behind Foxborough 19-2 in the first half, and then got the final score of the half to make it 19-9, and then made the comeback in the second half. And I thought this might be even better, 28-21. It's a much more high-scoring game, obviously, but 28-21 didn't look so bad considering where they were when they were on the 40-yard line with time left to try and make it 35-14. Now you've got 4 touchdowns in the last 3:49 of the first half, and 3 of them by Witman Hanson, and it's 35-21 for the home team.
Shot kick.
LaTraverse will catch it along the sideline, and he's going to get up to 45.
That should end the half.
And that's going to end the half. So, well, we'll be back to recap it. It's going to take a while.
It's going to take a while, right.
But it's a roller coaster ride here in the first half. And for Fisherman fans, the last dip of the roller coaster was a really tough one to handle. But Witman Hanson is on top 35-21, and the Fishermen are going to have to come out roaring in the second half.
Roaring defensively as much as offensively.
You're right, JD. We'll be right back. To the semifinal action in Division III football with Gloucester against Witman Hanson. We've got a spectacular offensive performance going on here at J.D. McEachran, 35-21. But it's not quite as spectacular as we hoped as far as defense for Gloucester, and especially that last touchdown that Witman Hanson tucked in at the end kind of curtailed what could have been a little Gloucester momentum even if we've been behind by one score at the half. But it is 35-21. Gloucester was ahead 7-0. Gloucester was ahead 14-7. Then 3 straight Witman Hanson touchdowns, and Witman Hanson looked like they had a chance to actually be ahead 35-14 at the half. Gloucester stopped them, scored, and then in the 38 seconds that remained, Witman Hanson came right out and scored again on the Hail Mary. It hurt.
Well, a little talk around, and we thought on the last touchdown play by Witman Hanson, the defender looked a little bit awkward on it, and apparently the Gloucester coaching staff and some of the fans that I talked to at halftime felt that the intended receiver might have gotten away with a little bit of a push-off. From our angle, it was tough to see. The defender looked like he committed to try to knock the ball down, and the receiver catches the football. Talked to some people, had a different angle. We're up a little bit high, but we're off to this side. People had a different look at it. Felt strongly that the intended receiver, the receiver, may have gotten away with one, and apparently the Gloucester coaching staff felt the same way, but the score's on the scoreboard, and that's what we're going to deal with.
I don't think that's worth dwelling on, because the fact of the matter is they shouldn't have been in a position to get that last touchdown if Gloucester played a little bit better defense down the field and not gotten 2 face mask penalties. The point to dwell on here is that Gloucester's got to get some stops, and they might as well do it right now.
Well, this is where it's got to start right here.
If Witman Hanson can score as much as 2 more touchdowns in this game, that puts an almost impossible task for Gloucester. Even if they score 1 more, it could be tough for Gloucester. This game's got to go into the 40s, I think, for Gloucester to win on both sides. And right now, Gloucester's got to show something on defense and do it right away. Mark Kelleher again is one of the people back there, 33, is coming to him on a bounce, and he's going to let it roll. Now he's going to pick it up, and that was a mistake.
Well, I think he thought it was going to roll out of bounds. He's pretty close to the sideline. Then he realized that the Gloucester defenders were going to arrive before the ball did, so he had to pick it up because it's a live football.
I thought he waited quite a bit too long to see if it was going to roll out of bounds. At any rate, it's a good break for the Fishermen. It's a long field for Witman Hanson. Once again, I'm Bob Drowan along with J.D. McEachran. We're pleased to bring you this playoff game. Bob McGlinchey is our camera person producer. We love high school football. We love Gloucester high school football. They made some mistakes in the first half. They have the talent to come back. They came back from a 10-point deficit last year in the Super Bowl. This time it's 14. A little bit tougher, but this is a high-powered Gloucester offense. Now the defense has to do its job. 1st and 10. Up the middle, and a big hole. It's going to be a big game. The ball is loose, and they're going to recover it. Witman Hanson recovers it. Gloucester didn't dive on it, J.D.
Almost the break that they needed. Ball was there. Witman Hanson reacts to it first. Big gain, big first down, and a big break for Witman Hanson. They come up with a loose football.
One Gloucester player just tried to pick it up. You've got to dive for it. You've got to get the ball.
Witman Hanson player shaking up. That's Pimentel, I believe.
Okay, wait a minute. The way they mark it, J.D., they're marking him down.
Oh, they said he was down. Okay,
so.
The ball came loose after he was down.
That's certainly not where the ball was recovered.
Pimentel a little shaken up. He's gimping up to the line a little bit.
Okay, he's just 5'8", senior. Handoff right up the middle again, and this is a big surge. And good blocking, but good running, J.D.
Good strong running off the left side. Gives them another first down. Yeah, they're going to move the markers. Ball up to the 47.
And it's 1st and 10 for the Panthers of Witman Hanson. I don't think I've used their nickname yet tonight. Might as well give it. We got the Fighting Fishermen of Gloucester. Right now, Witman Hanson, the aggressor. This play doesn't go. And there's a tackle right there, and that's
Stropel.
By Stropel, 52, and Stropel must lead Gloucester in tackles, or at least in the ones that I've seen, J.D. Eunice has been in on plays, but Stropel one-on-one.
John Doc Enos is usually kind enough to provide us with stats, but I just checked with him as the second half started. He was still doing stats. He had a lot of stuff to record.
We had a lot of offense. This game's going to be, we believe, broadcast to you pretty quickly, but you'll still probably read it in the paper before you hear our dulcet tones. 9:30 to go. 2nd and 12 for Witman Hanson. Handoff over the left side and slowed on the play and made the Murray with the tackle.
Eunice was there too, La Traverse, and Mr. Stropel.
That was Mike Dillon, whose only previous carry was a touchdown run on a draw play to the left. But this one wasn't quite a draw play. It was just a handoff to the left. And Murray did a good job fighting off the defender that time to make that the blocker that time to make that tackle. JD.
Yeah, nice job.
We got Jack Reed at outside linebacker, Leo La Traverse at the other outside linebacker. Pitch play to the left. Gloucester will stop it right inside the 50. It'll be a good 4th and 5 for Witman Hanson. So they thought they could run left, JD, and they kind of pounded it that way, but Gloucester stood up to the handoff, then the pitch play left.
Well, they kept the ball on the ground successfully early on to start the game, and they must have felt they could come back and do it again, but Gloucester's held defensively, and they're going to force them to punt it away, or we think they're going to punt it away.
Gloucester, of course, will have to be aware of a fake punt again. It's the clock moving, but for right now, we have to believe that they will kick it away with Sean Conover. And it is a boomer at about the 15-yard line. Testaverde comes back to the left.
Gets one block.
Gets to the outside and gets up near midfield. So that's a very nice return. No flags on the play. It's going to be marked out at the 44. So it was about a 34-yard kick, but only 4 yards net, JD, with the 30-yard return.
Good return. Gloucester up near midfield.
At the 44.
Got to work offensively now. The defense took care of business following the second half kickoff.
Quarterback Pimentel out to get his ball back.
Pimentel moving okay after being shaken up a couple plays ago.
Here's a pitch right. Testaverde with a good block.
Nice
turns
block.
the corner. Gets ahead for about 10.
Stropel on the block that spun him around the corner.
Nice hit by Justin Randall. 87. But close to a first down for Gloucester. And they're going to call it just short, which gives Gloucester once again a chance to maybe put the ball in the air, look for something deep. Just underway in the second half. A real shootout in the first half, 35-21. It's Witman Hanson's lead. Every possession now crucial for the Fishermen, but they did come up with a defensive stop to start the second half. They're going to go with a tight formation now with 2nd and 1. Handoff over the right side, Testaverde.
First down. Fights for a couple more. Swarmed under.
Gets ahead for about 4.
Moves the chains.
Gloucester may try and hunker down here and run the ball, JD, and it's that, which is all well and good because they did it. That's how they won last year in the Super Bowl. And but time is also a factor. Anytime they don't score on a drive.
Right, and then they've got to really count on their defense to make a lot of consistent stops.
But if they can get the first score of the second half, that will be the key. Testaverde left, and that's a good defensive play over there.
They reacted quickly to that. Actually, there was a good block out in front, but good reaction.
Mark Hutchings, 64 there on the play for Witman Hanson.
Nolan Palazzolo, watching him go back and forth, talking to offensive coordinator Paul Ingram, he looks like he's limping a little bit. I don't know whether it's just me or nothing too serious, but looks like he's gimping a little.
All right, 2nd and 9 for Gloucester at the 41 of Witman Hanson. Palazzolo looks deep over the middle. This is
going to
nice
be
catch
caught by Murray.
Murray with in traffic, but the throw was up high, and he made the catch down to the 25-yard line. There were 2 white shirts and about 6 maroon shirts.
And I'm watching the reaction of the Witman Hanson coaching staff over there, my right. The guy also threw his headset off of the platform up here. He was really, really upset.
Well, they certainly scored on a play where their 6'6" receiver took advantage at the end of the half. So Gloucester down to the 25. Clock moving. This is going to be a rapid third quarter with the Gloucester in the second possession under 6 minutes. Fake. Palazzolo looks deep.
Good with a touchdown!
Beautiful
Beautiful job by Kyle Goodwin.
He got the defensive back turned around, and that was it.
Well, he was looking over his left shoulder. He had a good look. Palazzola's definitely limping.
Yeah.
And Goodwin made a beautiful adjustment. He had the defender beat deep. Palazzola with the strong arm gets it down far enough, and Kyle adjusts to it beautifully. Nice catch, and Gloucester takes advantage of the
Right back in.
defensive
It's 5:39 to go. Extra point, of course, crucial here. We haven't had one go awry in the game. 5:39, as I said, left in the third quarter. Gloucester tries to pull within 7. Peter Giacalone is the holder.
High snap.
Our snap kick is up, though, and the kick looks all right.
No good.
Wow.
Wow. Is right.
Wow.
High snap. Giacalone got it down nicely. Traverse with a strong enough leg, but they said it went outside the upright, and
Wow.
that's a big miss.
Okay, I don't know. Wow. Okay, it's 35-27. There's nothing we can do about it. I thought he got it up and over.
Well, Gloucester's still within 8, so the two-point conversion, if they can get to within 2.
Right. And now the question may be, is Palazzola going to be able to go both ways, JD? Because he is limping.
He definitely looks like he's limping.
Okay, the good news, folks. Gloucester scores in the first possession of the second half after they get the stop they needed. 25-yard touchdown play from Palazzola to Goodwin, and it's 35-27. A little bit disappointed on the extra point, and now we'll see what the Gloucester defense can do the second time around in the second half. Nobody's leaving.
That's for sure. You can't leave this one.
And they could have got tired. They could have got worn out after that first half. But we got plenty of tape, folks. Don't worry. We're ready to go into overtime. We'll do whatever it takes to bring the films of Gloucester High back to Channel 12, Adelphia. Leo Latraverse gets a nice kick. And coming straight at the middle and into a horde of fishermen. Goes down at about the 30, so they have better field position than last time. They did get up into Gloucester territory just barely last time before they had to punt. And then Gloucester with the good punt return and the 56-yard drive. Big pass play to Murray and then the touchdown pass to Goodwin.
Robbie Morrissey amongst the tacklers on that play. Witman Hanson had a wedge, but it was broken up nicely. But decent enough field position. And time for another defensive stop by the fishermen.
Yeah, Palazzola's not in there. It's Jesse Williams at safety. This is around the right side for Armstrong. Armstrong is going to go.
One man to beat.
Testaverde, he's going to go.
He cuts away from him, and they got to go.
He's gone. What a run by Armstrong.
No flags.
Wow. 70 yards, 69 yards for Armstrong. He came to the left, he cut back.
Well, the coach down on the field is giving a thumbs up here to the gentleman to our right, so they must have saw something. They come out with a running play to the left. Looked like Gloucester had a couple opportunities to stop it. It would have been a pretty big gainer, but breaks a couple of tackles back to the middle of the field. And as quickly as Gloucester scores, Witman answers.
First down, very important again. Pimentel is perfect 5 for 5. And the Gloucester enthusiasm was quelled almost immediately. Kick is up, and that's very accurate.
A strong leg.
Yeah. Understand quarterback Pimentel is looking at Norwich. I'm sure he is a little bit undersized perhaps for college football, but not as a kicker certainly.
No, and I don't know what they got for football up there at Norwich, but I'd like to see, I'll take a look at them.
Yeah. Okay, 42-27, and 15 doesn't look quite so good. As both teams scored a touchdown now, but that missed extra point worries you, JD, and the fact that they just broke a 69-yarder on the first play from scrimmage after Gloucester did pull within 8.
Well, we thought where Gloucester stopped the running game on the first possession for Witman Hanson in the second half, that they might go to the air, they keep it on the ground, and they break a big one.
And as they were trying to do when Gloucester stopped them, they kept running left. They didn't give up. Evidently, they thought they could run left, and Armstrong was the man who did it. All right. The good news is we're in shootout mode. The bad news is we got to shoot some more.
We're on the short end of the shootout.
There's practically no margin for error for Gloucester. They need to score, and score some more. Goodwin to Testaverde deep. Conover's kick is a beauty.
Wow.
This one's going to go through the end zone. This is the flag they told us he had, JD, that he could reach the end zone. And he did. So it's 80 yards for the Fishermen.
Finally got one in.
The up man just looked at that one go flying over their head.
Yeah.
Goes into the end zone. He'll come out to the 20. So Gloucester with no chance off that kickoff for any kind of field position.
Palazzolo with the limp, so that we hope that he's going to be able to continue on offense, obviously. And he's at his best usually when he rolls out. He may have to stay more in the pocket. We see a Witman Hanson player rushing off the field, so they had 12 people out there for a second.
Now they made a substitution.
Handoff is to Testaverde. And Testaverde's ahead for 20,
Still
25,
going.
Still going. Nice run. Take that, you running backs of Witman Hanson. We're not done.
Off the left side, nice hole. Testaverde quickly into the secondary. Carried a couple of defenders with him for about 9 yards.
So 27 yards, on the carry for Testaverde. And 1st and 10 for the Fishermen at their own 47. We're under 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Tight formation. Palazzolo straight drop back. Looks over the middle deep as Murray, and
no flag.
The defensive back.
Ooh, that was a close one.
I guess the ball and the defender got there at the same time, JD.
Gloucester coaching staff reacts over there, and they're a lot closer to it than we are.
Anybody in the world is closer to it than we are.
If it was a good defensive play, then it was extremely well timed because the defender and the ball absolutely got there at the same time.
All right, Palazzolo continuing to throw the ball well. 2nd and 10. And this one is Goodwin on the right side. Goodwin does the best he can to get ahead for about 5 yards, JD. A lot of things could have gone wrong on that play. Gloucester was lucky to pick up a few yards.
He had to reach up, Kyle did, and he had to juggle it a little bit. So he had a good concentration. Don't start running until you got the football. Kyle looks it into his hands, and it's very noticeable that Nolan Palazzolo, as he comes from the far sideline, is limping.
3rd and 5, and given the score and given the fact that Gloucester's not doing too well on defense, this could be 4-down territory.
Testaverde,
and it doesn't matter anyway. He's going to have a first down.
Eunice block.
And that's a little cross buck over the left side. It's a little bit of a different look for Testaverde. They try and run him wide usually, but this is more off tackle, JD.
A little timeout called by the official.
He's going to measure, I guess.
We thought that they had it, but the official says...
Well, I thought he was in the arms of a tackler and had the ball out like that. I think this has been a pretty good crew here tonight, actually, JD, so I'm not going to get into a spot war. Or They do have the first down.
They do have the first.
Do you want to take care of some business?
No, okay, I'll do that. If I can frantically, if they get to the line of scrimmage, we'll... Just when I thought I had it.
We'll take care of it later. Get those notes together.
Little disorganized here.
That's okay.
We'll get it on the next one. I'll be ready.
I thought we had a chance where they were bringing the chains back.
Well, you had to rely on me, and that negated all our chances.
3:35 and counting here with the clock moving again. 1st and 10 for the Fishermen at the 43, but they need to score and score quickly. Long count. Palazzolo, straight drop back. Under pressure. Looks deep over the middle.
Flag.
We got a flag. I think that's going to be against Witman Hanson for knocking Goodwin to the turf.
Let's see. Officials talking over.
No, illegal man downfield.
Illegal man downfield, okay. Palazzolo was under pressure. He rolled to his right, and apparently somebody might have released thinking that he was going to run it.
But probably, if he's nursing a leg problem, he doesn't want to run.
And while they step this off, we thank the following for helping to bring this program to you. Cape Ann Savings Bank, Gigaloni Construction, Glover's Floor Covering, and the Sports Zone.
Thanks a lot. We're back, let's see, to the 42. So it's a penalty, but, well, if they're going to mark it off from there, they might just well refuse the penalty and call it incomplete. Gloucester's going to get the down back? All right. Palazzolo looks deep.
He's got Murray.
And it's incomplete. Could have been intercepted. It hit the ground.
Murray comes up with it, but the referee right there passed the ground, meaning the ball hit the ground and weighs it incomplete.
That was just a little bit out of his range. Again, Murray had the best chance for it, JD, but that was just
had to reach a little too far back. The defender probably got under him a little bit.
Third down and 10. This is a big play for Gloucester, trailing by 15. In Witman Hanson territory at the 43-yard line. Testaverde split out to the right. Palazzolo drops.
Time.
Looks over the middle. Oh, yes.
Yes,
His man is Murray for a first down. Inside the 30-yard line.
They wrestle Murray to the ground. They didn't really tackle him, but he does get the first down. Well, as quickly as this third period started off, we're now just under 3 minutes to go in the third period.
Well, we've had, once again, the scoring is almost keeping pace, but the teams are staying in bounds, and the passes are being completed, and there's a lot of running.
Tight formation.
Handoff over the right side. Testaverde comes back. Testaverde running hard.
Piece of running.
Good performance here tonight by the junior, who seems to get stronger as the year goes on, which only makes sense since he started this year with illness, Shady.
Right. Mono to begin the season took a while to get into the lineup, to get healthy, but certainly as the season goes on, probably a little, not a blessing in disguise, but it didn't hurt that Testaverde missed that first couple of games because he's running and running well now, and it's a first down for Gloucester inside of the, where are we?
Inside the 18, about the 18-yard line. Handoff over the left side.
That's
for
Goodwin.
About 6 to Goodwin on the wingback handoff.
Good piece of ball handling by Nolan as he gives it to Goodwin coming out of his wingback spot, then fakes it to Gigaloni going in the middle, pulls the linebacker in a little bit, and Goodwin able to get, we'll call it a long 5.
That area of the field, I've got a glare when I try and,
I'm glad
you picked it up. I'm glad you picked it up, because I wasn't sure if Palazzolo still had the ball that time. All right, 2nd and 5, about the 13. Gloucester wants to get in quickly. Testaverde over the left
with
side.
a hole.
Going to be close to a first down. Gloucester punches it in here before the third period ends. They're going to have a decision on whether to go for 2 or 1, JD. 1 would get them within 8, and then that puts pressure on the defense. Of course, 2 would be nice because then they can even think about what the heck, we'll go for 2 if we get it again somehow and try and win it 43-42. I don't want to be far-fetched, but...
well, let's get in the end zone first.
Let's get in the end zone first.
I'm voting for that.
Third and 1.
Third and 1.
At the 9. Flag on the play. Don't know if it's motion or...
I got a feeling it's motion.
Or...
Well, let's see. Where it
could
came
be
from,
offside.
It could be offside. It is
no, it's
procedure.
motion. Yeah, okay.
That hurts. They had the first down.
Now they may have to think about putting in the air, but of course they've got 2 downs. That's a tough call on 3rd and 1 inside the 10-yard line to get a procedure penalty. I didn't see anybody move.
I think the back might have got half a tick quick. Not noticeably, but could have been. But whatever it was, it backs it up. Just inside the 15, call it the 14.
All right, Gloucester's going to get up there. The time is, boy, this has been a fast quarter. It always feels that way when you're behind, of course.
Murray, the logical target, spreads left.
Goodwin is right. Long count. Testaverde in motion.
Giacalone
tried the fullback.
up.
They hadn't used the fullback in a while, and that's going to end the third quarter with Gloucester facing a crucial fourth down.
Good defensive job by Witman Hanson. Number 87 stays home. And
Gloucester's going to let the clock run out. They're going to talk it over. The biggest play of the game will start the fourth quarter, JD. An interesting third quarter for the Fishermen, but in spite of the fact that they play better on defense, they still find themselves 15 points behind, and they were 14 behind at the half. So it's, but of course they have the potential on this fourth down play, first play of the fourth period to make a difference. We'll be right back with that fourth quarter action. Welcome back for fourth quarter action at Dennis O'Brien Field at Whitman, and this could be the ball game right here, JD.
Huge call, huge play.
They had a 3rd and 1. They went back 5 on a motion call, and then they got 3 on 3rd down on the fullback trap, which they haven't used much because this has become a shootout. And Giacalone got down to the 6-yard line, and now they've got to get it down to about the 3-yard line. Again, we feel that quarterback Nolan Palazzolo is a little bit limited in his ability to run now, since he is limping a little bit, but he certainly seems to still be throwing the ball well, and he's out there and competing, obviously.
You got to think the logical play is throw it up there, let Murray go get it, but we'll see what they come up with.
Try and get 6, not just the first down.
Pitch
play. Testaverde
should have the first down. No
close.
flags.
I don't know. Does he?
He does.
Okay, he's got it.
Down to the 5.
Yep.
Goodwin was the motion man. He goes out, leaves the blocking. Somebody pulled from the line, led the blocking also. So.
All right, this is a good Gloucester drive, JD, but it's also a time-consuming drive when you're behind by 15.
And now we have a timeout called by Witman Hanson.
Okay, defensive timeout. Gloucester basically has had the ball for the last 8 minutes of the game, except for one offensive play by Witman Hanson. Witman Hanson took 3 minutes off the clock to start the second half. Gloucester finally stopped him and forced him to punt, and got the good punt return, scored. Then Witman Hanson scores on the first play from scrimmage with 69 yards, and then Gloucester's been driving it back. They got the ball with just over 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, so this is a nice drive, but again, time-consuming.
Yeah, when you're down 15, and start taking time off the clock.
And although we'd love to say that Gloucester's going to get a 2-point conversion and then score again and tie it up, that's not exactly the way it always goes in high school football.
Well, it's mandatory that they punch it in right now.
Entertaining football game, folks, if you like offense. And there have been some good defensive plays, too. Tight formation. 1st and goal at the 5. Palazzolo under center. Testaverde over the right side.
Driving.
Fighting down to the 2-yard line. And we've given credit certainly to the backs for Witman Hanson here tonight, all running hard, JD, but nobody's running harder than Testaverde. And we congratulate him on making the Northeastern Conference All-Star team as a defensive back. I have a feeling he'd like to make it as an offensive back next year.
I think next year he will. But right now, we've got a couple of yards to negotiate.
Time is definitely a factor now. Over the left side.
Giacalone
touchdown,
line and touchdown.
Good line surge that time. Look at all the Fisherman linemen in the end zone with Giacalone. 10:04 to go. And whatever they do on the extra point here is crucial. If they choose to go for 1 to get within 8, they need to
go for 2.
They're going to go for 2 right now. All right.
Well, So this is a monumentally huge play. They need to convert. They're going to go for the 2 now. They send Murray out wide right. Double wing. Lone back.
Ciccolone is the lone setback. Good one in motion. Palazzolo, they're going to flag on the play.
And they got the 2, but what the flag? There's a flag on the goal line. There's flags all over the place.
See what the call is. Murray got the 2-point conversion.
Gloucester listens and they're not celebrating. Or are they?
Offside.
Offside. Beautiful. Okay.
Counts. All right.
Now they can celebrate.
So it's 42-35, folks, and I think we can say it's anybody's ball game.
Well, now it comes back on the defense again for the Fishermen. They can't dig themselves this 14, 15, 16-point hole again.
No.
Time has just become the ally of Witman Hanson.
Right. And I don't think they can afford to let another touchdown get by. I mean, it would be asking quite a bit for them to get 2 touchdowns in the time, unless Witman Hanson's to break. Well, I don't want to even speculate. Let's just stop them. 10:04 to go in the 4th quarter. 42-35. Any way you look at it, you paid your $7. You got your money's worth here tonight. If
we
you
got
it
in
for
for
free,
nothing, and we're ahead of the
we're
game.
way ahead of the game. Just happy to be here. Go Fishermen, and Witman Hanson's got a heck of a team. Leo Latraverse is going to put it up there. Did I mention I wish they hadn't got that touchdown at the end of the first half? Oh, I guess I have.
I think you have, and I'm in complete agreement.
Okay. Latraverse's kick is a little bit short and picked up by Kelleher, and he gets back to about the 30-yard line.
Kelleher did all right to hang on to that ball. That was one down on his shoe tops, and he kind of scooped it up like a shot stop. Gets it back to the 30.
I'm kind of glad one of the 2 Ryans isn't back there returning kickoffs, Griffith or Armstrong, to tell you the truth. I mean, Kelleher hasn't done badly, but he doesn't feel like the same kind of threat the other 2 guys are. All right, 70 yards away from the end zone. And the Fishermen need to stop them as soon as possible. Tight formation to begin. Armstrong's out to the left in a pass situation. And the handoff over the left side.
Well, Gloucester saw something there. Jimmy Eunice virtually ended up playing linebacker on that. As soon as they saw the formation that Witman Hanson came up to the line of scrimmage with, Jimmy Eunice jumped out of his defensive end spot and went the absolute way of the flow. And Gloucester, I don't know what they saw, but they had that one figured out.
No gain on the play. 2nd and 10, and Witman Hanson intent on running left. That's one thing they're showing. Maybe they're just setting us up for a comeback to the right here.
Paul Simon in defensively for the Fishermen. That's safety.
Simon, the senior.
Looking
Short
out
pass
here,
in the
right.
flat. Goodwin can't make the
Breaks the tackle. Drives him out of bounds.
And that's
but they
McMullen.
get the first down.
That's John McMullen. And very nice throw by Pimentel. Got a timeout over here.
That was the signal that Witman Hanson calls a timeout. And that's interesting because they went out of bounds, which stopped the clock anyway.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what they want to talk over or whatever.
The coach is kind of whacking himself in the head, I think.
All right, well, they have renewed the downs. They stopped the clock. Well, the clock was stopped anyway, so all they did was waste a timeout, I think. 9:07 to go. 42-35, Witman Hanson. They've got 1 first down, and the Fishermen have to dig in. Handoff over the right side for Armstrong. Armstrong for about 3, and out of bounds. That'll save some time. And he does get up to about the 49, so give him 4 yards on the carry for his extra effort.
Connell, Goodwin, and Stropel again.
Wow, they marked that at the 50? Oh, my goodness.
excuse me, Mike Mann. I think I said Strobel. It was Mike Mann. Good spot. Again, we can't quite see the sideline. It's completely wiped out in front of the Witman Hanson bench.
I thought he stepped out at the 49. It may be apples and oranges here. There's a handoff.
Nowhere. That's
Strobel again. Nick Kukuru there, checking in at the outside linebacker spot.
And along with Mann.
Mann was also there. No gain. They could have marked that one at the 49 too.
Lot to verse.
All right, big one here, 3rd and 5, JD. You got to figure, not only do you have to stop them here, but you have to stop them well. Don't let them get to 4th and 2, because they'll go for it, I believe. Tight formation once again. They want to play smash mouth. Pitch right. Nowhere. Oh, wow,
he fights for a couple, but he's going to be short.
Boy, he's an effort back. He really is.
Scopel. Williams.
But it's
Testaverde.
It's 4th and 2.5.
It looked like they had him stopped, but
right
no gain. But he fought for a couple of big yards. A little decision time. Witman Hanson coaching staff talking things over.
I think they want to go for it, but it's a big gamble.
That little surge.
I think they're going to go for it, JD.
Now let's see what happens. That little 2-yard surge.
Yeah, I think it was 4th and 5. They're going to punt, but you know they're going for it. Well, this could big play.
If they try to gloss to our
This game is all about big plays. They may be trying to draw them offside. You're right, JD. And they motioned. Okay, all right. That could force the punt. Too much time. All right. Okay.
That was delay. They did come with a long count. They wanted to draw a gloss, so they did. Now they send out the punting unit.
Okay.
So
7:21 to go. The Fishermen got their stop.
They gamble with a long count. It ends up costing them 5, puts them in a punting situation.
Gee, would this be a good time to break a punt return?
Oh, be still my heart. First, let's hang on to it. Then we can break it.
We're all right, I hope. Remember, they faked the punt earlier, just about midfield. I don't think they're going to be inclined to do it here. But good snap. Conover is the kick. This is to the sideline, and it's a beauty.
Yeah, and he did a good job. He kicked it away from Goodwin. Goodwin, no chance of fielding it. It goes out of bounds inside the 15, so a heck of a punt.
Again, this kid's being recruited by some Division I school, supposedly just for the kicking ability alone.
211 8766. You have that number. Please report to the broadcasting booth.
6:56 to go. 42-35. Once again, we got our prediction right. Oh no, this could be the first prediction we ever had that was right. But it's a shootout, folks. And now the Fishermen have a long way to go. 87 yards. Maybe 86. Handoff over the right side.
Testaverde
gets a first down, I believe. And a couple steps away.
Gets glossed out of a little bit of a hole. It is a first down.
It's like looking into that light when you're in the doctor's office and he's trying to check your pupils when they're in that area of the field, JD.
Well, we're enjoying the Witman Hanson hospitality up here in our perch high above field side, but it is a little tough over there on the far side because of the glare.
6:40 and counting, but the Fishermen have renewed the downs. They're moving the ball here in the second half.
Goodwin
over the left side for about 7. Maybe, well, call it 6.
Thomas leading the blocking.
If Gloucester obviously would love to stay on the ground and score with 1 second. Well, maybe not, but they'd love to. They'd like a time-consuming drive if they could be sure that they were going to tie it up at least. There are no short things. 2nd and 4. Palazola knocked down. That was
dangerous.
Almost a deflection into a defensive lineman's hands. That was, again, one that he might have let go a little bit sidearm that was, it was easier to knock down, JD.
He drilled it, but he did drop down a little bit. He had the receiver, but good defensive play. Somebody gets a hand up, and fortunately no interception, just an incompletion. But it brings up a third down. That's a biggie.
Third down and a long 4, we'll call it. Passing formation. And we got call on the play. It's got to be motion, I guess.
Once again, the winning left ticket number is 211-8766.
Dead ball motion is correct.
211-8766. If you have that winning ticket, please report.
Didn't see that one, JD.
Somebody over on the far side, it was the official over across the way that made the call. Just as the ball was snapped, the flag went up, so that's a big 5 yards. Now Gloucester's got to negotiate third down and 9.
They were going to throw on 3rd and 4.
I don't want to put the ball back in Witman Hanson's hands
No.
with under 6 minutes to go.
No.
39 for Gloucester.
Goodwin left. Murray left. Screen pass to Testaverde. He's got room.
Finds a tackle.
No, they call a block in the back, or holding, or one or the other. They called it on Reza, I'm afraid.
Did they get the first? No.
No, they don't get it. Holding. Only one man to beat, and Testaverde did it with a blaze of speed. He didn't need the hold.
Made a beautiful, beautiful cut.
And it was a nice screen. They set it up nicely. Well, that one was right in front of us, folks. And I don't mean to single out anybody. I'm just saying that it was pretty obvious who they called it on, and I don't know if he really held or not. But we always like to see the kids decide the game. The good news is that they've gone back, and it's not a total 10-yard loss, but it's almost about 8.
They got to get up to the 36.
Yeah.
7 long for Gloucester with 5:20 left to play in the game.
Testaverde split out to the left. Straight drop back, pressure. Okay, now he's got to scramble. Okay, Gloucester's going to have to kick it away.
Good defensive coverage by Witman Hanson.
So it was a promising start for the Fishermen. They got a first down out to the 26, and then they've got to run to the 32, and then after that, it was 2 penalties and out.
5:05, so obviously this is danger time. Witman Hanson's going to get the ball back. They're up 7, and
if they can get 3 first downs, the game could be, well, Gloucester's got four timeouts at least. But after 1 first down, Gloucester would have to start thinking about using those timeouts. And, of course, Witman Hanson could wind up with a short field here. I think they're underestimating Leo LaTraverse a little bit, creeping up to the 40, maybe kick it over their heads. Low snap, handled nicely.
it's
blocked.
get partially blocked.
Wow. Conover with a great play. I didn't think he'd get that ball.
It was a low snap. LaTraverse forced to pick it up off the ground.
Sensational play by Conover. He used all 6'6". If he is 6'6".
He gets up, he gets just enough of it to deflect it, and Witman Hanson is set up in ideal position at the 15-yard line. 4:58 unofficially remaining in the game. They lead it by 7, and the Fishermen have got problems.
And even if the Fishermen can put a stop on him here, Pimentel may be able to kick a field goal, JD. All right, they've got to stop him. 4:58 to go. Pimentel rolls.
Big hole.
Oh, no, it's a fullback.
Now
Wow.
31. Huge hole over the left side.
Again, the good fake. And I'm looking into that light, and they're now 1st and goal at the 2. Maybe the only thing to hope for here is that they score quickly.
Well, either quickly
turnover,
or a turnover.
If they put it in, Gloucester's got to score twice and probably an onside kick in there somewhere.
And actually, at this point, if they don't turn it over, Gloucester would hope that they would score very, very quickly. Time is moving again.
Nice run that time. And
Now Witman Hanson calls a timeout.
Okay, 4:34 to go in the game, and everything going Witman Hanson's way right now. Again, the special teams play is crucial on the block punt. And Fisherman played a pretty solid second half, JD, but I have to go back to that touchdown at the end of the first half. Just a killer.
No, we got excited when Gloucester got it to within a touchdown, but Witman Hanson didn't get excited. They came right back at Gloucester, get it back up to a two touchdown margin, and it's been a interesting second half. Gloucester hurt themselves with a couple of penalties, and then what looms now as the biggest play of the game is the block punt, and it sets up Witman Hanson with an opportunity to not maybe put it out of reach, but close to it. Left side,
surge touchdown, right? Okay. I have mixed feelings about this. Obviously, I would have loved to see him fumble into the end zone or something, but at least Gloucester is going to be get the ball back with some time to work with. What we have here is if Pimentel hits the extra point, it's going to be just where we were at halftime, and Gloucester's going to be receiving the kickoff, and they're going to be needing to score quickly and then go for the onside kick, JD.
Well, also when we talk big plays, let's remember the punt. We said he was a good punter being recruited. He kicks it away from Goodwin, goes out of bounds to the 15, pins Gloucester back, and things have evolved from there.
And then he also blocked our punt. Kick is up. Kick is good. 7 for 7. 49-35. And the Fishermen have their work cut out.
Well, they need to score fairly quickly. They can't give the ball up in any way, shape, or manner in these last 4.5 minutes. They were certainly all over, but they got to score relatively quickly. Then it's going to come down to an onside kick and whether they can get it back or not. But we certainly don't want to see them give it back to Witman Hanson. They force Gloucester into a punt. They block it. They push it in. And now we're going to look at the Gloucester Fishermen under a whole lot of adversity.
And once again, I still think he's throwing the ball well, but Palazzolo obviously is a little bit hobbled.
Right, and that just takes away a weapon, which is Palazzolo's ability to scramble and to make things happen. And we've been watching him now for the second half, and he's definitely limping every time he comes back from talking to Paul Ingram. See if he puts this one in the end zone. Not much of a breeze.
Short kick.
Keeps it low.
Goes out of bounds. All right, so I don't know. Interesting strategy there. I thought that they would. He's got the leg. Why not just kick it deep? Are they really worried about us breaking one? They've got. I think
they're going to kick it over. The first one is, I think you have no choice. They back you up 5.
Yeah.
Let you kick it again, or make you kick it again.
The second one goes out. They get it at the 40.
I believe so.
Yeah. Well, Witman Hanson came as advertised here tonight, JD. A multitude of good backs, an excellent quarterback, and 2 big tight ends. And Sean Conover, in certain ways, maybe their player of the game, although Armstrong's certainly a good player.
Yeah, got the bounce, but unfortunately,
oh boy,
unable to handle it cleanly, and
that would hurt.
They're in a hole.
That hurt big time. .416 to go, 49-35. Fishermen more than 80 yards away. The good news is they have the people who can do it quickly. The bad news is they got to do it twice.
Well, Witman Hanson is well tuned into the fact that Gloucester can strike quickly. I think they're going to go into some form of prevent. So Gloucester is probably not going to spring the biggie, but they've got to get at least a couple of major gainers.
And maybe get Eunice involved in that play over the middle, tight end.
Palazzolo looks out here for Murray.
That's a lateral.
Hook and ladder, ball's loose.
Not going to work.
That's a lateral, and Witman Hanson has it.
That's going to do it.
They were looking for the hook and ladder.
Yeah.
Somebody wraps up Murray when he makes the catch. He had the player trailing. He tries to pitch it to him. That's a lateral. Ball's alive. Witman Hanson has it.
Yeah. And the tackler had his arm too.
Yes.
It was a good defensive play. That play has to be precise.
Right. And but I'll tell you, if it clicks, he's still running up the sideline.
Testaverde had the angle. There was a player who was sliding off who might have had a shot at him, but if he got the good lateral, it might have worked, and it was worth a try with 4:10 to go, and behind by 2 scores and being backed up where they were.
I think Loss is forced into calling a timeout. I think 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, they had 11 out there. Okay, now they're making a defensive change. But just what couldn't happen to the Fishermen happened. They turned the ball over. Witman Hanson has it inside of the 20. A play that, if it works, again, may have wellsprung Testaverde for a whole lot of yards. Somebody, as you said, probably was certainly in the vicinity. But the defensive player on Murray does the right thing, wraps himself around Murray's arms. Murray can't make a clean pitch.
It's a creative call. It's a call. You're trying to win the game. You need 2 scores. You sure as heck have to get one of them as fast as you can. And you can't assume you're going to recover an onside kick, and you can't afford to waste a lot of time getting that first touchdown. And credit Witman Hanson. They got the arm on, and the lateral didn't work out.
Over
the left side.
Backfield, as I'm sure now they're absolutely going to keep it on the ground.
That was Russell Young
not to.
over the left side. Young hasn't carried the ball too much tonight.
That was a look at the old-fashioned T formation.
Yeah. Notre Dame likes to use it now, but not very effectively.
No.
But you'll be going out there to straighten out that situation in South Bend, won't you?
Somebody's going to be out there.
They're going to consult with you about how to fix those things up there.
Get rid of the coach.
2nd down and about 6.
And they go
right up the middle, close to a first down. Well, should be about a yard short. Clock running. I would say if Gloucester can stop them on this down, they might use a timeout.
Well, Gloucester's a little helpless at this point. They just give the ball up. It's coming down on the 3 minutes. They trail it by 14.
Personally, I'd just like to see the Fishermen stop him because I don't want to see him get beat by 21. I don't think it was a 21-point game. Oh, jumped off and made contact.
They came out.
Wow, they're calling against. Wow, they pulled him off.
Okay.
Whoa, shocker.
Yeah.
Wow.
Looked like we had jumped in. They came back with that T formation look, and they motioned the fullback.
Not only did it look like we had jumped in, it looked like we thought we had jumped in. Okay, so that puts 3rd and 1 back to 3rd and 6. Almost 7. Again with the full house. That looked like motion.
Wide. Yeah, it certainly looked like motion.
Now
they got a flag.
No, that's holding. Well, holding's better than motion. The only problem is, you know, in high school and college football is that they run time off the clock after a penalty. I've never liked that. It just, you could literally keep taking 5-yard penalties and go back at the end of a game, and you know, the other team would have to call timeouts. Anyway, that hold is going to thrust him back, and
3rd at about 14. But the thing for Witman Hanson is they'll back it up because they still got the football.
Right, and as I say, the clock keeps running. It seems to me if it's an offensive penalty, the clock should stop. But they never consult me on that. Just like they never asked me anything about how to run Logan Airport. Here's a toss. This could be Goodwin picked off. Oh,
incomplete.
Breaks it up anyway. Goodwin definitely on the inside. That was just a throw it to my tallest receiver, and by the way, he is 6'6", and Goodwin was right there that time.
Goodwin, good position. Ends up breaking it up. Incomplete. Will stop the clock. Slow it down.
I'm not going to be critical of a team that's put 49 points on the board, JD, and they're probably going to win this game. But if Goodwin happens to get a deflection and it lands in Testaverde's hands, he's going right down the sideline for a touchdown.
Yep.
Nobody reacted to the play. Yeah. Some of the offensive linemen have to move that way after he puts it up in the air just in case it gets picked off.
We're too far out for that field goal you were talking about? Yes, we are. They're going to get a conventional...
I don't think they want to take a chance of a block. Timeout, okay. No, I think with a 14-point lead, you don't want to let the other team get back in with a blocked kick in return.
But you're right. They throw it down deep. Any kind of a deflection that glosses the position to go 85 the other way.
I think on the last possession when it was 42-35, if Gloucester had held them when they got after the block punt, he might have tried a field goal from within 30 yards to give them an 11-point lead. I mean, a 10-point lead. Well, JD, it's winding down here, but